Okay, so let's start with a metaphor. Uh, think about baking a cake for a second.
All right, I'm with you.
You can't just, decide to swap the sugar for salt or forget the flour and then just slap some nice frosting on top and pretend it's fine.
Right. One bite, and you know the whole recipe is just off. It's a disaster inside.
Exactly. And it's such a perfect metaphor for relationships, which is why today we're doing a deep dive into the ingredients that ruin that recipe.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at 10 critical red flags from Jimmy on relationships
Mm.
to really get a complete, easy to understand picture of what makes a dynamic toxic.
And more importantly, why we ignore them. Because most of us aren't really taught the difference between a relationship that's just difficult and one that's genuinely damaging.
So true. So let's start with the first thing the source calls the vibe check. It's all about consistency, that hot and cold dynamic.
This is usually the first major trap. It almost always starts with love bombing.
Constant texts, planning trips 6 months from now.
Yeah, making you feel like the center of their universe. It's a huge sugar rush. But then all of a sudden, they just disappear. They pull away.
And that withdrawal triggers so much anxiety. You immediately start going through everything in your head thinking, wait, what did I do? Did I say something wrong?
And that's the hook. It
Yeah.
turns the whole thing into an audition. You stop being yourself and you start performing just to get that high back.
So what's the rule of thumb here?
It's actually really simple. If you are constantly confused about where you stand with someone, that confusion is your answer.
You shouldn't have to hire a detective to know if someone likes you.
Exactly. But we ignore it because we have that people-pleasing instinct. We just want to be chosen.
Okay, let's get into some of the more specific ingredients. The red flags themselves. The crazy ex narrative is a big one for me.
It's a massive tell, a huge tell for a lack of accountability.
Right, if every single person they've ever dated was a psycho.
The common denominator is them. It means they can't reflect on their own role in a breakup. They're always the victim.
And that usually connects to how they treat other people too, right? Like being rude to a server.
Totally. That's the character reveal. How they treat someone who can do absolutely nothing for them. That's who they really are. Eventually, you'll stop being new and exciting, and they'll treat you that same way.
Which brings us to another tricky one, the coach. This one is so subtle because it's often masked as help or love.
Mm-hmm. The unsolicited advice about your diet or constructive criticism about how you should be going to the gym more.
I used to think, oh, they just want me to be healthy.
But it's not about health. It's about control. It signals that their love is conditional. It's tied to you meeting their standards. They're trying to change your ingredients, not appreciate the cake you already are.
And on the flip side, there's the partner who gets jealous if you do succeed, if you get a promotion.
Right. A healthy partner is a cheerleader. If they try to tear you down or make your wins about them, like saying, you wouldn't have done that without me. It's just pure insecurity.
That feels like it bleeds into privacy and secrecy. Guarding a phone like it holds state secrets.
For sure. There's a difference between privacy, which is healthy, and secrecy. If they act like their phone is Fort Knox, it usually means they're hiding something.
Now, I really want to talk about the fixer role, because I think this is where a lot of really empathetic, smart people get trapped.
The savior complex. It's so tempting. We see someone's pain, their trauma or addiction, and we think, my love can heal this.
I can be the one to save them.
But the source is so clear on this. Self-abandonment doesn't lead to peace. It leads to resentment. You can't heal someone who won't do the work. You just end up getting hurt.
And when that resentment boils over, you get conflict. But there's a world of difference between a healthy argument and a toxic fight.
100%. Conflict is normal. Contempt is the deal breaker. Name-calling, mocking them, rolling your eyes. That's not fighting for the relationship. That's just an attack. The recipe is officially ruined.
So if you spot these bad ingredients, is the only option to just end it.
I'd say it requires a hard stop. You have to pause and ask, is this person capable of owning this and changing? And if the answer is no, then yeah, you have to accept the cake is poisoned.
Which leads to, I think, the hardest truth in this whole deep dive.
That being alone is infinitely better than being in a bad relationship.
It really is. You will never, ever feel more lonely than when you're lying next to someone who makes you feel unseen.
Solitude can restore you. That kind of toxicity just erodes you.
So, as a final thought for everyone to mull over, and this one really hit me,
What is it?
ask yourself this. Are you tolerating this behavior because it's actually healthy or just because it feels familiar?
That's deep. Because sometimes we're drawn to chaos because it's what we know from our past.
Exactly. Don't ever mistake familiarity for safety.
Perfect way to put it.
Check your recipes, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.